Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and it is a measure of just how stupid the Tories think voters are, as well as how well it's worked in the past, that they are once again pushing the same pre-election line that they have done every single time. Oh, things are about to get super awesome, but if you want to see those super awesome days, you've got to vote for us like one more time. No, 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 no. It's nonsense, and after 14 years, it's going to lose its power to con the public. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel. So, the Tories are going to be Tories for the next election, of course. It's also stunningly predictable. But such is Labour's discipline right now, and such is the Tories' complete lack of a connection to the real world, that it is simply not going to change the result. As I discussed in the stream last night, this is the last Tory Christmas. At least for a while. This is the last Christmas we have to get through with the Tories in power. And it could be forever if we get things right, at least in their current form. And there's a particularly notable Christmas song this year that has an appropriate line, isn't there? To be repeated to any Tory MPs you have the misfortune to happen upon. Happy Christmas, your arse, I pray God it's our last. How many times have I recounted this usual Tory trick? They spend several years cutting public services, looting our national assets, diminishing people's standard of living. They blame it all on the previous Labour government, which mysteriously, I'm sure quite coincidentally, boosted public services, built up our national assets and raised people's standard of living. No, 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 no. You can't have the nice things, say the Tories. Labour spoilt you like an only child with your NHS and your education and enhanced rights and protections. Now we're going to have to sort the country out and take them all from you. But come election time, oh, they play a different tune then. Oh, we've been through the hard times, haven't we? They say whilst taking another swig of champagne. Yes, yes, all been very tough, all very tough. Sorting out Labour's mess, you know. But we've done it now. The good times are about to roll. However, I'm afraid we can't show you them just yet. They're not quite ready. Tell you what, we'll cut taxes a little bit for now. Then you vote for us again. And then next year, all be plain sailing, all be marvellous. Another golden age. Oh, what wonderful times you're going to see. So the public vote for them again and the taxes go straight back up and the economy continues to be a stagnant mess. Every single time. And they're doing it again. Back in 2015, Cameron and Osborne were talking about green shoots of recovery. They were never there, were they? It was just a con so that they could carry on looting. Now we've got the Sunday Express doing Jeremy Hunter solid by talking about the road to prosperity. Don't let Scrooges drag you down, says the headline. Scrooges would be people like me, who are about to show you what the groundwork to this road to prosperity looks like. See, I use these data quite a bit, and I'll be using it a lot during the general election campaign. Someone brought it up to me in an email as well, so I thought, oh, well, why not use it again, as someone's poking me with it. So, real median earnings went up under Labour. Look at that. Real incomes going up. Down a bit at the end, that was the financial crash. A few years later, there should have been a recovery. There was recovery in other countries. Was there here? No, look at it. Carried on going down. The closest we got to recovery was when it flatlined for about a decade. Then look, it's going down again. Oh, that's COVID though. That's a bit like the banking crisis, Phil. That's COVID. Oh, is it? No, 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 no. Look where the decline began. Wasn't 2020, was it? It's 2021. What happened in 2021? The extreme Tory Brexit. These data are for 13 years of a Labour government and 13 years of a Tory government. There are real terms incomes. You know, these are all real terms incomes. The Tories do not deliver for ordinary people. And if you want to know just how worse off you are, there's another chart that shows it by region. Bear in mind, this is since the banking crash in 2008, not the Tories of 2010. But again, yes, you will get a decline after a major international crash, but a few years later should be a recovery and then you're building back up again. Doesn't take 20 years to recover. Every single region in Britain has suffered a real terms income cut. Every region in Britain has a lower standard of living on average. Then, at the point at which Rishi Sunak and his mates started the process of destabilising our banks, you know, because remember, it wasn't just bankers like Sunak. This is what I think Labour should do more of. It wasn't bankers like Sunak that caused the crash. Rishi Sunak was literally one of those bankers directly involved. The regions which suffered the most are, of course, the ones which were doing better at the time. But the point is that everyone lost out. They didn't even shield their own heartlands. In fact, they were one of the biggest victims of their own voting behaviour. And never mind regions, they didn't even focus on key demographics. It doesn't matter about the poor people in the southeast. It's the older people that vote for us that we should be focusing on. All right, okay. So if you look by age group, all of the older voters took a hit to real terms incomes as well. And if you look at pensions, even worse. So this OECD chart gets shown around quite a bit. It shows pensions as a proportion of incomes in different economies. The UK is, of course, bottom of the league table there. On 28.4%, the OECD average is 58.6%. Now, in the interest of fairness, there are people who say, oh, hang on a minute, out of context. You can fall into traps if you just use this table. It's like comparing apples with bananas because different countries have different levels of reliance on the state pension. Because this is the state pension, right? There are people who have in different countries have more of their income on in-work pensions or things like this. So there's a sense in which you'd go, okay, that's fair enough. And I'll come to that in a moment. But there is also another sense in which, hang on a minute, there are people in the UK who are reliant on the state pension. 26%. That is a major proportion of the population reliant on the state pension. You don't get to talk about, oh, there's more people with work pensions. Yet they don't have them. So they need the state pension. And you cannot lightly abandon 26% of the population with a Vicky Pollard style, yeah, but no, right? But even the House of Commons acknowledges that if you take the relative position of pensioners' incomes into account, we still end up well below the OECD average. We have a figure of 58.1% compared to the OECD average of 69.1%. So however you try to present it, pensioners are screwed over in this country compared with our peers internationally. And it's largely because so many of them, not all I hasten to add, but so many of them vote for the party which crushes them in power. And even when they're in opposition, such is the sway they hold over the public via their client media, that even Labour governments have their hands tied to an extent when it comes to economic reform. And that's just incomes. Our incomes are provably lower because of the Tories. But all metrics are going in the wrong direction. Like I talked recently about how Labour are finally using this graphic in their campaigning. They need to use it a lot. And let me tell you what I like most about it. First of all, it shows two Conservative governments. So for those who think, well, we just got a bit of a run at the moment, yeah, sure. But it was all great during Thatcher and Major's decade. It was like, no. Even the relatively principled Conservative governments crushed our access to healthcare. But it only shows one Labour government. In a few years' time, it's going to show a second. The pattern will be much more stark then. And there'll be no, oh yeah, but John Major left Blair and Brown with a robust economy argument, which is a crap argument anyway, because, well, if it was that robust, then why did the waiting list still rise during those John Major years? In fact, it rose higher. But Starmer and Reeves are going to inherit an economy on its arse, being sick in the gutter. When the next period of Labour government still shows that those waiting lists go down, this graphic's going to look really compelling. You imagine what this is going to look like in another 10 years' time. My goodness me. And they're going to need it. Because right now, not enough of the public are going to believe this road to prosperity bollocks being parroted by the Express. No thinking person can look around and see the Tories as the party of economic competence. But once they're in opposition, their rhetoric will start to be more effective. Because I'll tell you what's happening right now. The Tories are trying to pretend that in a couple of years' time, things are going to be way better than they are. Like Rishi Sunak saying, oh, my plan for getting debt down's working. No, it's not. According to economists, they're going, no, you're basing your plans on savage cuts to public services in a year or two's time. So what happens is, of course, the Tories have done this knowing full well that if they did win the election, then the public are so stupid that they can do what they like. And it doesn't matter that debt will still carry on going up. And if Labour get in, which is way more likely, they know Labour are not going to cut those services, which means, again, that debt's not going to come down straight away. And they'll say, well, we had a plan to get the debt down. It was all there. Look, there's a graph and everything. You haven't followed it, have you? To which, what are Labour going to do? Say, no, because it meant destroying the NHS, you fools. But no, so that's what they're going to do. They're going to pretend that things would be way better in 2 years' time, so that when they're better, but not way better, they get to say, Labour have messed it up. We told you they would. So in opposition, the Tories' rhetoric is going to be far more effective. Labour are going to find it harder to counter in government than opposition. And it's been hard enough for them in opposition until they started taking it seriously. So they're going to need graphs like this. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. It'll not be a later long form video and a reduced schedule for the next few years. I don't know why someone's chainsawing at the moment. What's going on? It's Christmas Eve. There will be at least one video each day to come though. Don't expect too much of tomorrow's. But I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, the join button for memberships. Have a happy Christmas, everyone. And until next time, I'll see you later.